Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the channel. Yeah. That's better. Greetings and salutations. I am hiding from my children. Hi, my name is Kamaria. I am your resident part-time booktuber. And today I thought we could do, some more random, queer book recommendations real fast because I'm probably going to get interrupted. So today I'm going to do some horror, thriller, and mystery. And these are just some of my favorites. And I realized like in my last recommendation video that like these are random. And I also, I don't pick like the most popular ones that everybody and their mom has read. You know what I mean? Like I'm not, y'all know how to find those. That's a cat. Say hello. But I am not going to recommend like the ones everybody knows, or some of them might be, but these are just like my personal favorites. And because I looked through my whole catalog about all the like queer books I read, and I just kind of pick the ones that I like the most or remember or stuck with me, because I read a lot, y'all, and sometimes I don't remember what happens in a book. And I'm not going to like, so like some of these I'm about to talk about, like you've heard of, but hopefully some of them you haven't and you pick up something that's cool. So the first one I have is called Lavender House. I'm not always going to remember the author. I'll put the picture over there. So Lavender House basically follows a cop, like a gay cop who turned into like a private investigator. And this is set, I believe, in the 1950s. I want to say it's in San Francisco. But basically he has to like solve a murder, but it's at the house called the Lavender House, and everybody in the house is queer. And somebody dies, and he's like stuck in this house with these people who there's a lot of secrets, like they're all married to each other but sleeping with each other, like the other spouse, like it's a whole thing because being queer wasn't cool. It wasn't it was illegal. And they picked him to come solve it because he's also queer. So it's just, it gives a lot of like that, those kind of 40s and 50s vibes. There's like a playlist of music, like it gives a lot of vibes while he's like trying to solve this murder, and it's really, really cool, and I like it a lot. Another one is a YA. I've talked about this before when I read it because it like blew my mind, and it's Ace of Spades, and the two main characters are queer. It doesn't really like focus queerness as like the main plot. I'm just surrounded by cats. I'm an old cat lady. So yeah, this is about two students. They're going to this predominantly white school, prep school, and they basically get targeted by this secret person who's like trying to ruin their lives. And so these two students who are like black and they're super successful, they try to figure out who's messing with them. It's kind of, so it's basically like Get Out meets Gossip Girl, but make the characters queer and black. Next one is kind of like a horror. It's sort of a horror. It's not like a horror. It's a horror, but like it doesn't have a whole bunch of gore or like jump scares or anything like that. It's just creepy. It's What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher, and it's basically a the Fall of the House of Usher retelling. That's a story by Poe and Edgar Allan Poe, if you're not aware. But the main character is a trans man who is a soldier, has PTSD. He goes to visit his homie, and his house is falling apart. It's growing mold and mushrooms out the walls. Something's wrong with his sister, and he's just trying to figure out, like, what's been going on with my friend? This is kind of weird. Because a lot of creepy, weird stuff starts happening. And he's trying to figure out what's going on. And it's creepy. It gives you a lot of just the spooky vibes. And there are mushrooms, and I really like mushrooms, so there's that. Let's keep going and just, okay, this is creepy and weird. So the next one I have for you, the next few I have for you are just very weird and niche, and just ignore my cats. So the first one that's kind of weird is the Honeys. And this one is about like a gender fluid, gender queer kid who has a twin sister. And their twin comes home from summer camp like crazy. Like, so the main character is kind of like, what happened to my twin? What's going on? And basically they go and take her place. So they go take her place to try to figure out what happened to her, because homegirl just went crazy and tried to kill them, and they don't know why. And they get to camp, and it's weird. People are acting strange. There's like a queen bee kind of group. And things are weird and strange. You're going to feel like you're in a fever dream. It's really, really good, though. And like the big reveal. So secret societies, a genderqueer main character, and just all around weird stuff happening at this summer camp. The next one that's kind of weird, I've talked about this, I think, in my trans video, but it's worth mentioning again because I don't see a lot of people reading it or talking about it or whatever. A book called Summer Sons. And this is like gothic horror. A guy was best friends with this dude, and this dude goes to college, and he ends up like dying, and so he has to go and figure out, because everybody says he unalived himself, and the main character is like, so he's trying to figure out what's going on again, and he's also kind of having some hallucinations. And the big secret's revealed and crazy stuff happens. The writing in this one is so well done. And, like, you feel swampy is how I would describe it. Like, when you're reading it, you feel swampy. Next one is a YA, and it's called She Is a Haunting. And this one is basically following a main character. I believe they go back to Vietnam. Like, they go to their father's family living in Vietnam. The house is haunted. It talks about, colonization. But, like, this is also kind of just creepy stuff starts happening. So, like, homegirl's in the house, and, she just feels bugs. There are lots of bug horror. I don't know. There's a lot of bugs. You got a lot of bugs going on, crawling out of body parts. It's so if you don't like bugs, don't read this one. But basically it touches on, the colonization, because guess what? Vietnam was colonized by the French. So it talks a lot about colonization, identity, because the main girl falls in love with a girl from the town she's visiting. So it's sapphic, but creepy, haunted house, bugs, ghosts. This one is definitely gonna give you more of like icky vibes. let's see. Another one that's kind of haunting ghosts is the taking of Jake Livingston. This is YA. It's queer. He's gay. But it's basically he can see ghosts, and he has to like do a lot to like act like he doesn't see ghosts, and it's like, okay, even his family is kind of like, oh, ghosts again? Like, can't you just be normal and pretend they're not there? Like, he doesn't have a lot of support in his life, so he sees a ghost one day who is the ghost of like a school shooter, and he likes to pretend that he can't see the ghost, but like this one follows him around and eventually figures out that he can see him. And then he like possesses his body and tries to finish what he started in this kind of Columbine type shooting. So it's about this kid trying to fight with this ghost and exorcise him, and he kind of falls in love along the way too. But I really liked this for some reason. But yeah, it does deal with possession and ghosts, and it is quite intense for sure. Another book that I really enjoyed that's more kind of dystopian thriller type was Chain Gang All Stars. And this is another one that is, it's more than just a queer story. It's more than just, there are queer characters, but that's not like the central focus of the book. It's more focusing on, the prison system, injustice, inequality, and also like social commentary on entertainment. And because it's basically like a dystopian futurized world where they've taken like Gladiator, making it a reality TV show. And it follows a lot of different POVs. And for a while, you're kind of like, why are we in this person's head? Because it'll just be, at first seem really random, but it does kind of circle back. And everything is connected. But yeah, almost every chapter is going to be from a different character's perspective. The two main characters are inmates that were on like death row, and it follows these death row inmates because they basically say, hey, you're on death row anyway, but if you win these games, this TV show, then you'll be able to get out of prison. But it's basically just them killing each other for other people to watch on TV. And how that affects society, how that reflects society. And it's just really, really well done. I've read a whole bunch. I've read almost everything this author has written, including his short story collection, and I just like everything this man writes. He always has something really important to say. And you'll cry. You will cry reading this book, so you're warned. So we have two more. So the first one is Magic, Lies, and Deadly Pies. And this is kind of more like a cozy mystery. But it's not like, oh, somebody dies and we have to figure out who did it. It follows a main character who has magic. And this magic is basically passed down in her family. So she can bake feelings into pie. And that could be anything from, oh, if you eat this pie, you'll be more confident, or, stuff like that. So she can put her intentions and her magic into these pies. And so she's a baker, really, and works in a diner, but, like, she moonlights kind of as a Dexter-type serial killer. But she takes out the trash and helps, like, women. So she has this, like, secret hotline, where people can get in contact with her and be like, hey, and it's usually people who slip through the cracks. So, like, hey, my husband beats me and nobody believes me, or somebody gets SA'd and the judge lets them walk. So she will bake them a murder pie and send it to them, and they eat it and die. So it's kind of introducing this character in this world, especially the first book. It's a series, and each one has like a different thing, but it's basically just getting to know this woman and like her not trying to do these murder pie missions without getting caught. And she's bisexual, so she has like a boyfriend, but there's like this other character that's a lesbian character, and it's not really a love triangle because she's with the dude. But I feel like since this is gonna be like a big series, like that might change later on. And there's a really cute dog sidekick, so there's that. And then the last one I'm going to talk about is called The Mimicking of Known Successes. And it's sapphic, and it's set on Jupiter. Like, they've terraformed Jupiter, and, you know, somebody dies, and it's kind of set up like Sherlock Holmes and Watson. So she goes to Jupiter as like this colony on Jupiter. She hooks up with this other Watson type character, and they like hook up. But she was also trying to figure out how somebody died, and it's short. It's not super long, and there is another, I think, couple in this series. I haven't read them yet. I will say that this one was, in my mind, kind of mid, but I wanted to bring it up just because the premise is really interesting, because it's a colony set on Jupiter. Like, Jupiter is a gas giant, and so the way that they terraformed this planet was really interesting, and how they used, like, the natural gas on Jupiter, because, like, they could, like, go through the ground. It's to like different subway stations. Like, it's just really cool how they built this world, and I wasn't really too interested in like the mystery. I was more interested in like the world building of like how you would have a colony on Jupiter, because it's usually always Mars or something. So I just thought it was really, really cool, and it's sapphic, and it's a mystery. You have to figure out who done it, all that stuff. But those are pretty much my random favorite thriller, horror, mystery. So hopefully you found one or two that sound appealing in my really weird, roundabout way of describing them. And let's continue to have a happy Pride. Bye, guys.